I don't know how long I have to stay like this to capture the image like this, but I'm just going to stay in this one position for a minute and see if maybe I can capture the thumbnail here. Hi, family. My name's Betty. I'm a grateful person in recovery. I'm a divine spiritual being living a temporary human experience. And guess what? So are you. I won't claim that truth for you, but you are. So I was just on Instagram Live because I really love making Instagram lives, but I got it. I'm going to start using my YouTube more. So I'm here and Gregory's here. What's up, Gregory? And I'm going to talk about changing your narrative, how to shift your narrative without dying, right? I had a really transformative spiritual experience. I had a near death like experience about 4.5 years ago, and it completely catapulted my life into another dimension. I went from a drug addicted prostitute on the verge of homelessness to a devout believer in long term recovery, manifesting a life beyond my wildest dreams. And I was able to change my narrative from that initial thing to this thing that I am today. And I didn't just do it from the spiritual experience. I found all the tools along the way that helped me reprogram my mind. So, one of the tools that I use is I study this big, beautiful book, A Course in Miracles. Just a little bit of light reading. This is a channeled message from Jesus. If you believe in channeling, this is what this book is all about. And it's basically it's a reprogramming. There's a workbook inside, and it helps you like just like okay, I just opened it up to a random page and it says my thoughts are images that I have made. And like it helps me see that I am actually creating my reality and that I'm assigning meaning to all these things. And some of the meaning that's assigned to different objects and events and things like that is collective. Like it is part of the collective consciousness, but it doesn't have to be that way. So, like, for instance, I experienced a lot of trauma as a small child, young adult, teenager, like adult, like all these aspects of my life. There was trauma involved in it. And so the collective narrative says that I'm a victim. I will be hurt by this for my entire life. I will never get over it. I will never overcome. That is the collective consciousness's narrative around it. My new narrative, my spiritual narrative about it is that I am actually a divine co-creator of my experience. I have a role to play in every experience in my life, including things like, well, I believe in pre-birth planning. I have a deep knowing in it. So everything that I've experienced is something that I have picked out for myself as a soul. My soul has picked it out. Now, like my human cannot understand how being molested as a small child could help my soul evolve. But today I have unwavering faith and belief that my higher self, my soul, my spirit, source, my guides, my team, they know what they're doing. And having that belief and that knowing, man, it really lightens the load. I don't have to be a victim of the world I see. I can step into my divinity as a co-creator of this experience, and I don't have to feel imprisoned by it. I can feel empowered by it. And so that's my narrative shift. And I do that with everything in my life. Everything that I've ever felt victimized by, I have switched the script and I now write it in a different way. So, like if that's a useful tool for you, if you think that's something that you can use, please take it. And if you don't like it, leave it behind. So another thing that I've refocused in my life is my relationship with fear. Fear used to guide me in every aspect of my life. I was fearful of rejection, fearful of abandonment, fearful of the unknown. Those are my top three. And they still manifest in certain areas in my life. And so, but today I have tools on how to dismantle that fear system. And one of the tools that I really like to use is I look for tangible evidence of the divine in my life. And I can apply that to the areas where I feel fearful. So like for me, obviously I had this really transformative spiritual experience, and not everybody has that. And you don't have to die to have tangible proof of a higher power. In fact, sometimes I use other people's experiences as tangible proof that there's something bigger than me, like at play. So, like I can take stories from other experiencers, or I can read certain scriptures or books that really like assist me on my journey. So like Rebecca Campbell, she's a great spiritual teacher. I really resonate with her book. light is the new black. And she talks about her own spiritual journey. And she talks about angels and guides, and I can use her experience if I don't even want to think about my own. I can say, oh yeah, remember the divine helped Rebecca write a book and get published by Hay House and do all these things. One of the spiritual teachers that I followed really closely on YouTube when I first came into spiritual awareness was Aaron Doty. And he has a story about how in meditation he had like a spiritual awakening, and like he saw his victim story, and he transformed it. And so I can just use Aaron's story and I can say, hey, if Aaron can transform, I can too. And I can use tangible proof from other people if I don't believe in myself in the moment. And where am I going with all this? I don't know. I got no idea. I want to make content. Like this is really what I crave to do. I crave to connect with other people, to give space to experiencers, to share about the tools that I use to get through my experience. Like if you're somebody dealing with addiction, please reach out. Please reach out and let me help you get connected to recovery community. For me, some of the biggest tools in my life are literature, community, and acts of service. When I do these things in my life, it explodes into another dimension. I have access to so much more when I'm being of service to other people. It doesn't need to be like big, huge acts of service. Smiling to a stranger on the street, offering somebody directions who looks lost. Oh my God. I just reflected on the fact that I totally saw somebody who looked lost today and I did not offer them help. So I don't do it all the time, but I am of service much more often in my life today than not. And it really is a beautiful gift to be of service to somebody else. Making a video is being of service, sharing some truth, offering people space to share about what's going on with them in their lives. Anyway, now I'm rambling, and I'm grateful for this. I'm just grateful for my new life, and if you're somebody who can't find anything to be grateful for, reach out to me and I'll tell you about some of the horror that goes on in the world, and remind you that you have stuff to be grateful for. I'm grateful for air. I'm grateful for water. I'm grateful for the internet. I'm grateful for my computer, for my home, for my health, for my life. Those are just a couple of things. And if I can find gratitude in my hellish life, I'm sure that you can too. And we're creating heaven on earth, and don't forget. And if you need help in creating your heaven, if you need somebody to guide you in your architecture, there's people out there waiting for you. So in the meantime, be wavy, and talk to you soon.